Arsenal are in the Champions League final. What a monumental achievement from Mikel Arteta and company. Look, you can say all you want to say about Arsenal. You can say, man, these guys bottle every year. Man, they've never done this or that. No trophies, whatever you want to say. But the one thing you can't say is that there's been progress, right? Year after year, there's been progress. Whether it's been in the Premier League or the Champions League or whatever cup they're in, right? They hadn't been making cup finals before, right? So they were in cup finals this year. They're in the Premier League title race, and now they've got a huge, huge lead. Huge in terms of how important it is, rather than the size of it, but still a huge lead, right? And then on top of all of that, as I put this down, they're also in the Champions League final. Is that not insane? Is that not insane to say? 20 years later, what are the odds, man? What are the odds? And I hate on Arsenal a lot. I think they're an ugly team in the way they play. A lot of us think that way. But one thing you got to respect is an ugly team winning ugly. And that's what this game was. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Now, before we get into any controversies here, I do think Arsenal still deserve to win this game. In a way, like, I think Arsenal are the better team. No one can really argue they aren't, right? As far as the best team on the planet, Arsenal are in the conversation. Atletico de Madrid is not. So let's get that out of the way. I think, as far as the actual, in game feel, I think Atleti did not play great. Arsenal played better. You can't really argue that either. Arsenal were dominant. Whether they were in a block and letting Atleti have the ball, or if they were pressing, they were suffocating Atleti. Atleti could not build out. It was like all Arsenal. Like for a long time, it was all Arsenal. Yes, Atleti did have moments, but you can't have total control of a game for 90 minutes at this level. However, well, unless you're PSG and Inter, but however, Arsenal, I think for the majority of the game, this was their game to lose. They're at home, but they were dominant. They were dominant in my opinion. Gyökeres was incredible pressing. Seems like he's taking a page out of Dembele. But yeah, I mean you got to give it to Arsenal. They deserve this. You can't really say they scammed their way into this. Now let's talk about that though, right? Because there were a few calls. There were a few calls, particularly the penalty. Well, there's two penalties. The first being on Simeone, right? Simeone was in. He's in on goal. He just gets a good ball and it's a good timed run. He's in on goal. Touches it past I think it was Saliba or Gabriel, and then he also touches it past the goalkeeper Raya. And then here we go. Gabriel comes in last minute with some contact. He affects Simeone's shot, but the referee says it's legal. The contact's minimal. And, Simeone doesn't really get a shot on the ball in an open net, by the way, right? Very obvious goal scoring opportunity. We could be talking about a red card there, too. But referee says it's legal. And I look back at this and I think, I don't know. It's a 50-50. I really do believe it's a 50-50. Now, there is contact on the upper part, right? And I think that has to be taken into account. But also, I think it's like in American football, they call it a football move. Like it's just something you see all the time, right? It's like that's a regular thing. I don't know if you can really say that's a pen. It's tough. It's tough. Like the referee says no. I think it's subjective. It's a harsh, especially for Atleti, that's a harsh call to take. So I don't think that's as much of a controversial call as it is. It's tough. I still think Simeone, like, because he stays up, that's probably why, right? If he goes down on that contact, and we'll get to going down on contact later, but if he goes down as soon as Saliba touches him on the shoulder, then you probably at least get a question. Like you get the referee to go to the screen, or VAR is going to double check. And going down doesn't guarantee anything. You could leave with simulation and a yellow card if you're Simeone, but it's tough. You don't want to encourage players to have to go down too. That's another thing, right? You don't want to be like, man, he has to go down there. Like a foul should be a foul regardless, right? It's a foul, right? But this is how football is now. it's really tough and it sucks, but I don't think it's a total robbery on this call because the contact for me is sportingly deserved, right? Like it's not, and maybe it's influenced because Simeone stays up, so it seems less heavy of a contact than it is. But for me, no pen, it's okay. Like you can live if it's gonna be if it's you're gonna call a no pen there. Now, the second call here, man, it's a pen, right? Everyone will agree that's a foul on Griezmann. The thing is, and this is the problem with footy and diving and going down on contact, and this is what Gabriel knew and what Simeone did not. Gabriel goes down on the slightest of contact. Referee can't see it well, but it's he goes down. It from the referee's point of view, since it's happening at full speed, right? It seems like he gets kicked on the shin or he gets kicked wherever, and Gabriel goes down, and then the foul happens on Griezmann, and because the referee sees that Gabriel goes down, you cannot go back and VAR and say, oh, I'm not gonna call that a foul. I'm actually gonna switch it to a pen. The foul happened, and that's that. You can't switch it up, right? Just those are the rules. So it's tough. They should have gotten a penalty there because that should not have been called a foul in the first place. But once it's called, all hands are off the table. Like there's nothing you can do, and that sucks. That sucks, and it's a problem with the sport, right? Diving, because Gabriel is clearly diving there. Everyone will agree he's diving, right? That's a very minimal contact. I don't even know who kicks him. Was it Almada or Alvarez, whoever? But it's so soft. It's not a pen. Everyone will agree. But there's nothing you can do because that's the way the game is now, and it sucks. Bro. It's so bad. You don't want to see it in the sport. So I feel bad for Atleti. Now look, even if they do get that call, I still think, however this game ends up, Arsenal are the better team. They probably 8 out of 10 times, 7 out of 10 times go through, right? So, but you still got to play the game. So it feels bad. I feel bad for Atleti fans, but it's just unfortunate. That's how the game ended. Now, Arsenal still had a bunch of chances, right? Jokeres missed some crazy chances. Outside of these controversial calls, Atleti still had some chances that they could have got. I think Griezmann had the ball inside, and he opts to give it to Llorente, who's offside, and they end up calling it. But I think Griezmann should shoot that. That was early in the first half. I think Lookman had an opportunity, but he couldn't get his feet sorted out. Brother, who had a big opportunity? This guy, Alexander Sorloth. Oh my gosh, how do you fumble that? I mean, that shows you the occasion, right? Alexander Sorloth gets the ball on a plate. Any striker in the world would love to have that ball right there on your foot. I don't even know if Sorloth is left-footed actually, but whatever. If you're a striker, oh, he is left-footed. Okay, because he hit that pretty naturally. If he was right-footed, that'd be crazy. But back to the point at hand, you get the ball on a plate in the box and you scuff it while your team is down. It's like the 80th minute or whatever, and you're scuffing it. Nah, nah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, if you're Alexander Sorloth, you're running that one back forever. Like my goodness, man. I let really could have been in the game, but also on the other hand, Arsenal had quite a few right off of corners. Saka had like a wide open corner, but it's a tough technique off the volley. But in particular, there was that Jokeres chance, right? And Capie to Jokeres, and Jokeres just sent it above the bar. Wow, I thought they were gonna regret that. And that was before the Sorloth chance. So imagine if Sorloth scores that chance. And that's what it is in the Champions League, right? You got to convert your chances, or they'll convert you, as I say. And today, Arsenal converted their chances. Like I said, ugly team. They won ugly, but that's what they do. That's their identity. I'm okay if you stick to that. As much as I hate it, I respect it. And that's what I like to see. We need people, we need identities in football, right? You think about those, not even like way back, but like just go to 10 years ago or even 8 years ago, right? Real Madrid were the counter-attacking team, king of the counter-attack. Barcelona possession footy, right? City also possession footy, but then Atleti at the time were, we're kind of like what Arsenal is now a little bit, right? Also very low block, we'll kill you on the counter attack. Same with like the Juventus teams or some of the older Italian teams. Like it's that's what we love to see is the clash of styles, right? So I'm happy for Arsenal. You stick to that. You win with that. That's even better because now you're gonna get more style clashes, more interesting games at the top level of the elite. And yeah, man, Arsenal thoroughly deserve to go through. You can't really say too much. Saka got an ugly goal, but I mean that's right place, right time from Saka. And I've been a little bit critical of Saka. Like I still think he's got to be able to beat his man more, right? For a player of his talent, you feel like he should be able to beat his man, but the injuries, right? He can't do it as much. So we'll see how he develops as a player. But one thing, one thing that top players do is get goals at the right time and be at the right place at the right time, right? That's what you do for clutch. Gambling on opportunities, right? Go run, make that far post run. Maybe the goalkeeper spills it. You never know, right? Maybe the ball gets through. You never know. And that reminds me of another chance Arsenal had right early on. Milu Skelly sends it right across the 6 yard box. Nobody touches it in for Arsenal. That was rough too. But that's what it is, right? If you're Saka showing up, it's an ugly goal, easy tapping, sure, but at the end of the day, Arsenal are in the final. There's nothing you can say. Arsenal fans enjoy this. Hey, I remember when PSG got to the final last year. I was like so happy. Enjoy it. Now, I don't want to rain on the parade. Job not done. Obviously, you also have the Premier League, but outside of that, for the UCL, you still got Bayern or you got PSG. I think if you're looking at them, it's like, man, who would you rather want to face if you're Arsenal? You're looking at the league stage. Arsenal did beat Bayern 3-1. Now, the league stage, the thing about the league stage is then the league stages, right? So you can't really say too much, but at the end of the day, Arsenal are in the final. I think they're willing to take on all comers at this point. Their guys are starting to get healthy. I mean, this is looking really good for Arsenal. I'm starting to get a little scared. We'll see, man. I hope it's PSG tomorrow. I really hope it's PSG. But that game, that game, man, that game's gonna be a barn burner. We'll see how that goes. But Arsenal should be confident regardless. I'm seeing a lot of people actually. I'm seeing this narrative before I end here. I'm seeing this narrative that Bayern is apparently food for Arsenal, and PSG is the only team in the world that can beat Arsenal. I do not think that's the case. Remember, in the league stage, Bayern showed up to the Emirates without Musiala, right? And I think without Diaz as well. So that's a whole different dimension. Like, no offense to Leonard Carl and company, right? But Musiala and Diaz running at you is a totally different thing. And Davies as well. So if you're Arsenal fans, y'all better be careful, man. Don't underestimate this Bayern side if you get them in the final. And if you get PSG in the final, that's a different conversation as well. But hey, I'm not gonna jump into any conclusions. We taking it a game at a time. Our turn is tomorrow. We'll see what happens, man. I'm not even gonna make any predictions. I want PSG to win. That's all you need to know. I don't care how it happens. I don't care if it's an ugly 0-0. Make it uglier than today's game. Let's get in the final. You feel me? So, but that's that, man. Yeah, shout out to Arsenal. Still got work to do, of course, but now you got a 2 point lead in the league, and you're in the Champions League final. That's incredible stuff. That's incredible stuff. You're gonna have time in between to get some rest too. All you gotta do is basically not draw. And I think they have like West Ham in on their schedule next. You beat West Ham, you're probably the champs because City still have to go do Palace and Villa and Bournemouth, and I think Brentford. Like, no, Arsenal cannot bottle this. I think today they've retired the bottle. You know, the all of that bad juju gone. This is a new leaf for Arsenal, in my opinion. New page, everything new. Let after today, hey man, you can do all the bottle jokes you want. You can say what you want about the past, but this Arsenal side now, it's a new level. They're on a new level. I'm telling you. But thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy Ollie Fuddy. Until tomorrow. breathe, because tomorrow might be tears of joy or tears of despair and sadness. But we'll see. Until next time, it's been your boy Ali Footy.